It's all come down to this. If we beat Thun and Basel lose or draw and we win by a significant number, we will finish top of the Swiss Super League. Can we do it? Let's see. Roll that title. Here is how things are looking since the buy-in game. So we've went on a particularly good run in the league, the only exception being the Young Boys match in March where we lost 1-0. Really disappointing result this, but let me go through more of the games in detail and then show you how things are looking in terms of the Super League. So we started off with a game against St. Gallen. We beat these 2-1 thanks to goals from Maximiano and Julian Foreman. Adley getting a goal for St. Gallen. Then we took a trip to Winterthur. Winterthur actually went 1-0 up in this game. Meloni in the 41st minute, but an own goal in the 57th minute, and then goals from Patas and Silla in 67 and 69 minutes, respectively. Got us a 3-1 victory away from home. Then we had a really frustrating match against Zurich. Poiret for FC Zurich. Teitman did get a goal back, and we secured a 1-1 draw, at least away from home from Zurich. That was then followed up with a 2-1 victory at home to Thun. So Thun went up via a goal in the 22nd minute thanks to Mike Quiquaz. Alex Morris got a goal and Roland Freund in the 83rd minute, securing a 2-1 victory there. March didn't start particularly well. We got a 2-2 draw at Yerevan. Pinto and Simic scoring for Yerevan. Simic getting the goal in the 90th minute. Alex Morris continued his goal scoring spree, the left back. Goals in the 16th and 59th minute. And then Young Boys, we lost 1-0, and you can see from this game, we definitely deserved much more out of it. 22 shots, 6 on target. Young Boys had 5 and 2, and Junior Ligue getting another goal against us. He has always been a thorn in my side for whatever reason. But we didn't let that get in the way of our good form, and we returned with a game the following week against Lausanne with a 2-1 victory thanks to goals from Sakani and Maximiano. Alfie Saunders got an own goal in the 59th minute, which didn't really help us, but we secured the win nonetheless. And then a mad game at Servette. At half time, it was 6-1. So we got goals in the 3rd and 9th minute thanks to Kaminski and Akurek. Tafaj got an equaliser in the 11th minute, but then Maximiano went on a bit of a rampage. Goals in the 18th and 23rd minute. Noah Lampert getting a goal in the 26th minute, and Alex Morris getting a goal in the 32nd minute. We were 6-1 up at half time, and this is probably one of the best games I've ever seen us play. Very good performance. Fritz Gatto got a goal in the 54th minute to make it 6-2, but a really comfortable performance against Servette. Then 2 frustrating draws. The first one against Lausanne, 1-1 thanks to Maximiano getting a pen for us, but Kenan Buzaladzik, and I apologise if I butchered that name, in the 89th minute. I thought these guys weren't our bogey teams, just like Zurich, but they tend to give us a bit of a problem, Lausanne and Zurich, no matter what. And then, pretty much a title decider. This early on in April, it was very close at this point, and we got a 0-0 draw at Basel. You can probably see from the ratings, we had a really bad game with some of the players. Morris, Silla, Rickenbacker, Lampert, Kamara didn't have good games, and I think it was a fair result. Basel probably edged it, but luckily we we survived, I'm going to say, because if you can see from the match momentum, Basel were much more likely to score than ourselves. But it was really frustrating, and that's put it a really tight phase before the Lugano game. So I just want to show you the table before the Lugano game. So we were on 32 points, 21 wins, 8 draws, and 3 defeats. Basel on the same amount of wins, but they've got less draws and more defeats. But they do have a better goal difference. But that win against Servette has made it really important with the goal difference, and we are only 4 goals behind them on the goal difference. In terms of the rest of the teams, it's probably going to be Thun, Luzerne, and St. Gallen in the top 5. And there is a potential that Young Boys could be in the relegation group, which is crazy. They've not had the greatest of seasons. They've just sacked the manager as well. Things aren't going well for Young Boys. And an interesting thing about Young Boys, and I've mentioned this in the past, since we came into the Super League, Young Boys have not won a title. They've came really close on a number of occasions, but it hasn't happened for them, unfortunately. Weirdly enough, there I've just noticed we aren't registered as runners up or teams that come in third place, so we must just not entirely get registered at all, which is crazy, I think. But that's the way of the Swiss Super League. It looks like Lausanne are going to get relegated, and Winterthur are going to be in the relegation playoffs. I don't see Yeovil mucking up there, but you never know. Lugano and Zurich look to be a little bit clear of the fight in the relegation zone. Just an update with the Challenge League. It looks like Jamax and Aru are going to be the top 2. Kriens, though, are not out of it, and I wouldn't exclude Stade Lausanne, Ushi, or Sion. And unfortunately, Carouge, Etoile Carouge are probably going to get relegated, unfortunately, for them. I'm just going to do the Lugano game, and then I'm going to show you the fixtures for this crucial Championship League group phase. We comfortably beat Lugano 4-1. Goals from Kamara, Maximiano, Noah Lampert, Muller. Fagir got a pen in the 61st minute, but we totally dominated this match and fully deserved the 3 points. With regards to how we are looking in the league stage, just want to show you the overall table. So that's put us on 74 points before the split. Basel are 1 point behind us, and then it's pretty much the rest of the teams behind. So Thun, Luzerne, St. Gallen, and Young Boys. It looks like Lausanne are going to get relegated. Winterthur will probably end up in the playoffs, but there is a slight chance that they could maybe catch the teams above them past Servette. But yeah, that's how the league is split, and we go into these next couple of games, which are quite important. So, first off today against Basel, which I will show you the results of in a second. Then it's Luzerne away from home, never an easy fixture for us, just like Zurich. We've got Balzers in the cup final, which we will obviously show you. Then Young Boys, then St. Gallen, and then Thun. In terms of Basel, let me just quickly show you their fixtures. So it's a little bit more easier for Basel because they don't have the cup final to go against, and they're also out of Europe, so it's literally 5 games for them for the rest of the season. So it's away to us for today. And then Thun at home, Luzerne away, Young Boys at home, and then St. Gallen at home. So they've got probably the better fixtures, I would say, in terms of the 3 games at home rather than the 2 games at home. But we're going to try our best to finish first in the Super League. Obviously, as you can see, we haven't got the Champions League place, which Basel get. And we wouldn't win the league, it would go to the second team, which would be Basel. But if we were to finish first, I think in the league, that would be an incredible achievement, and we're going to try our very best to do so. The board are happy with how we've done in the Champions League, and also they have been delighted that we are going to qualify for the Champions League, even though we're not. Which is going to be interesting next season because they want us to win the Super League. So I'm very curious how this will play out, just with regards to how we've done in the Champions League and stuff like that. Obviously, because we will go straight into the Conference League, if obviously we beat Balzers at home, which I would expect us to do. But yeah, let's get into these games. I'm basically going to do the live game when it comes down to probably the most important one, which might well be the Thun match. It might be the Young Boys match. It might be St. Gallen. It's basically going to be the game that decides us the title. I'll obviously update you how things have happened in the said Basel game today. But yeah, let's see if we can finish first in the Super League. This is how things are looking with 37 games gone and 1 game left. We are 2 points behind Basel. We must win our game today against Thun. Basel have a game against St. Gallen, and if they draw that game or they win that game, then they will be champions. If they were to draw that game and we were to win by 5 goals at least, then with regards to goal difference, we would go ahead of Basel, but we can't guarantee that with St. Gallen. So we must beat Thun and hope that St. Gallen get a result against Basel. But yeah, it has gone down to the final day. Let me just show you how things have gone with regards to the schedule. So it started with a 1-1 draw against Basel, a goal from Marlon Teitman in the 54th minute. But unfortunately, Basel got a cheeky equaliser, Kamoko, in the 94th minute to rescue a point, and they definitely didn't deserve this. I know they had more shots on target, but if you look at the ratings on our side compared to what they had, we did have Kenneth Kassar get sent off in this match, unfortunately, but that didn't matter. We reverted to a little bit of a Christmas tree formation. Doesn't really show very well in the bottom left-hand corner there, but a frustrating draw. That was then followed up by a defeat to Luzerne, 1-0, an own goal from Andrea Gurney, our Italian left back. Luzerne just doing what they normally do against us, which is we've tend to dominate these matches now against Luzerne and Zurich, because I always mention those two teams because they seem to have a bit of a bogey curse against us. We either do really well against them or we struggle like we did in this match. We totally dominated it, and it was just a mistake from Garini, our Italian left back, which put us in a bit of a bad position. However, after the cup final as well, we won 4-1 against Basel. We absolutely dominated this match. Let me just show you how we did it. So first off, it was an own goal. Kamara plays a ball into Simon Beale and it just deflects off Schneider. Morris then plays a ball to Teitman, back to Morris, and it's a simple goal again from Simon Beale. He should have had a hat-trick in this game. Kamara then plays a lovely ball to Teitman, Foreman off to Maximiano, and Maximiano just does what he does best. Young Boys did get an equaliser though. Mossberger playing a ball into Malaise, and Junior Leguig getting an equaliser. Always tends to score against us. Maybe somebody we need to look at in the future. But then Kaminsky with a bit of a deflection off Foreman, resulting in a 4-1 victory at home against Young Boys. That was then followed up by a trip to St. Gallen, a 2-0 victory, goals from Kamara and Foreman. And as I mentioned, we are 2 points behind Basel with the game against Thun today. And just a small update, we won the Liechtenstein Cup once again. another comfortable victory against Basel to secure our place in the Conference League for another season. Here we have the youth intake for the 2034-35 season. It's not particularly good, as I was mentioning in the last video. There's only 2 top talents, the rest are particularly poor, but there is one slight positive in all this. He's not in the decent talents, but we have somebody else who is not a Liechtenstein national. We have a Spanish player who's come through. Roberto Bernal. He looks, I'm not going to lie, he looks atrocious. There's not really much to shout home about, but the fact that we've got somebody in, possibly from our affiliate, I don't know, I can't confirm that. But the fact that we've got at least one intake player that is not Liechtenstein is really positive, because that means, technically, he can get the Liechtenstein nationality. If I just have a quick look. Yeah. It's 822 days. And he's consistently there. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring, youngsters in, is to, help develop the international team as a whole. But we are sort of on 50-50 on that at the moment, just with regards to improving the national team, because it is very hard to get players to switch allegiances to Liechtenstein. We've only had a few over the years, and obviously we've had a couple recently who've decided that they don't want to do that. Anyway, let me get on to some of the other guys. So I just go to the dev center here, and I'm just going to show you a more broader picture of who we have in the intake. So we showed you Roberto Bernal. We probably will sign all of these players that are in the decent talents anyway, just to fill up that under 18 side, because it's always beneficial. I know sometimes with intakes it's not worthwhile doing that, but the fact that we can potentially develop them, who knows. Anyway, stop rambling on, Jamie. Here we have Klaus Liescher, I think that's how you pronounce it. 6'5" goalkeeper, which I really like the look of. We do get a lot of goalkeepers through these intakes. Not bad, not brilliant, but not bad. And somebody you can develop over the years, I think. We can develop him. And I mean, this savers long term, so we're going to keep going with it. So maybe you might see him in the future, but this Fabian Zech looks like another decent midfielder. We have been getting a lot of midfielders through recently in the last couple of intakes. And he doesn't look like a bad DLP. We have a number of DLPs that can play that position, but yeah, looks okay. Probably the promising out of a bad bunch. The only worrying thing here, he's got low determination, which isn't fantastic. And if I just check, Klaus is light-hearted. We've got Max Behrens here, another winger. Looks okay, nothing crazy to shout home about. Hans-Jürgen Alien. Looks like an okay defensive midfielder. Nothing, like I say, to really scream home about. Patrick Schaffer, brilliant name, I must admit. Looks like an okay advanced forward. If we can get that technique up, could be something decent in the future. Definitely somebody for the national team to think about. Another winger in Frank Butcher. I would rather call him Butcher because that would be funnier. But anyway, got a lot of good physicals. The personality isn't great with him being a casual, and his determination's really low, which is really bad. So not a particularly great one there. Mikael Risk, another winger, nothing to scream home about. Michael Heinbochel, or Heinbochel, brilliant name, I will add. 5'10", can play across the back line, so potentially somebody for the future, who knows. 2 stars though, but you never know. And we've got Finn Fellenberg, who I also like the look of name-wise, but nothing to really scream home about. Good leadership and determination, though. Temperamental is a little bit disappointing, but I always like that natural fitness to be high. So yeah, not too bad there, not brilliant though. I'm just going to go through the other guys. So we've got Sheeman here, doesn't look particularly good. Tim Meyer, another winger. Michael Gower looks okay, nothing to scream home about again. Andreas Amford, centre back, not the worst. Determination's okay. Teamwork and work rate, natural fitness. So maybe we can get that development a little bit higher. Who knows? Marcus Altweck, a fullback who also can play as a winger. Got a very sneaky suspicion that we won't see him. Obviously, I've showed you Roberto. And we got Jonas Risch, who may be a midfielder. Balanced. Looks okay, to be fair. I think some of the star ratings can lie a little bit sometimes, but nah, not the greatest of intakes, but certainly not the worst down the years. But no 5-star potential this year, which is a little bit disappointing. With regards to Ian Taylor, his contract expires next year, and he's been at the club for 10 seasons next year. So if I can find a better head of youth, I will obviously get him in. But the fact that he's a perfectionist is one of the reasons why I'm keeping him around. And he has produced a lot of good youth players over the 10-year period that he's been here. Or 9 at the moment, anyway. But that's the intake, and if you'd like me to show you any more players in detail, just let me know, and I can stick a screenshot in the comments. This is the side that is going to play Thun today. We are away from home, so it's going to be Casanova, Cassar, Alfie Saunders, Kaminsky, Morris in defence, with Alejandro in the defensive midfield role, Kamara and Teitman in the middle, Simon Beale, Maximiano, and Julian Foreman, who has been scoring a couple of goals for us recently rather than Maximiano featuring up front. In terms of on the bench, it's Pastor, Engler, Garini, Campana, Patas, Rickenbacker, Rambaldi, Noah Lampert, and Magnus Gilholm. The players missing out are Silla, Muller, Ebold, Akurek, Zakawini. He's just come back from injury as well. Adogu and Freund. The reason Silla is not playing, I can see that he's got a decent rating and he has scored 3 goals this season. And you're probably going, why are you not playing him? His form this season has really annoyed me. He's just not the same player since the whole debacle with the transfer. And as you can see, he's one of many players that are wanted. As you can see from the first team, we have Casanova wanted by a number of clubs, and he still has that release clause as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves. Kaminsky again is wanted. Alex Morris, funnily enough, is wanted. Alejandro, and as you can see, the usual suspects, Kamara, Teitman, Simon Beale, Maximiano, Foreman are wanted. A couple of other players as well. Rambaldi, who is our very good attacking player from Italy. So it's going to be an interesting summer, whether we finish first or not. We're going with the 4-3-3 that has worked so well this season in the league. It's annoying that it's come down to the final day, but we just have to get on with it. Yeah, we've had plenty of chances to get us in a good position to get away from Basel, but we haven't taken them, so we're going to have to rely on St. Gallen, our local rivals, to do us a favour. But yeah, let's see how we get on. Hopefully, we can finish first. Obviously, we wouldn't win the league, so that will be interesting. Also, one other thing, just before I get into this match, the board is currently in the process of a takeover, so it's going to be a bit interesting to see how things go next season. Obviously, I mentioned a bit earlier in the video about certain expectations. And I mentioned this season they want us to continue to win the Super League. I don't know how that's going to work if we don't actually win the Super League. Bit interesting. Nonetheless, anyway, let's see if we can do this, shall we? This is it, the most crucial game of the season. Thun are going with a 4-3-3. We are going with our trusty 4-3-3. Form's been decent apart from the Luzern defeat and the Basel draw. Like I say, we need to win the game, and we need to win it by 4 goals. It's not going to be an easy match. Thun are a tricky customer on the best of days, so we will see how we get on. I'm going to have the analysis page on, and right off the bat, Basel have already scored, so yeah, it's a bit interesting already. Anyway, first highlight, potentially to Thun here. Let's see how we get on. Looks like they changed the pitch this season. It's the first time I've noticed that. Carl and Jupius scores a brilliant goal in the 4th minute. Not the best start. Casanova, I personally think, should have had that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's a great strike, don't get me wrong, but I think Casanova should have had that. And yeah, not the greatest to start. So we are going to have to score well over 5 goals now to have even a chance of catching Basel. Bit annoying, I must admit. Potentially another highlighted Thun here. We're not pressing them very well at all. Having said that, though, a little bit of a counter attack here, maybe. Morris, Maximiano. It's a nice ball into Foreman, but it doesn't really lead to anything, unfortunately. We're not pressing as much as I would like. We are playing really lethargic, yeah, and this is 2-0. It should have been 2-0. They're getting a berate already. It's funny how Casanova can catch that, but I mean, we're playing a low block, which I can understand with the counter-attack sort of formation that we have for the away games. Basel 2-0 up now. At 3-0 up. Yeah, it's not going to be our day, unfortunately, I don't think, guys and gals. Unless St. Gallen can pull off an Istanbul sort of comeback. Yeah, it has really been that Luzern game that has just cost us, unfortunately. Teitman, Maximiano, back to Teitman, Foreman. I mean, that's the reason why I've kept him in. Julian Foreman is probably the best Liechtenstein striker out there at the moment. I really want to keep him as much as I can. I want to get him homegrown. I would love to bring him potentially back if we do get rid of him. But I'm not going to let him go for cheap. Like I say, he is one of the best Liechtenstein strikers, if not the best Liechtenstein striker right now. And I'm trying to do a favour for the Liechtenstein national team. This is what I mean by him. Unfortunately, he wants to leave. We don't have any form of contract extension, which is frustrating. So we may have to sell him next season, and I don't think he's got the homegrown status for Vaduz. Homegrown status, sorry. At least we got back to 1-1 at half time. Unfortunately, I think everybody from Vaduz is probably going to see us finish 2nd place, though I'm not happy with the performance. Alfie Saunders hasn't had the best game either. Alejandro hasn't had the greatest game. I'm going to put Patas in. We're also going to take Simon Beale out and put Kamara. And we're going to bring on Rickenbacker. I'm going to put Maximiano onto the right. Yeah, I'm glad we haven't taken up the option to sign Alfie Saunders permanently. He hasn't really done it, unfortunately, this season for us. Um, so yeah, type it a Foreman. I'm gonna do my best to keep a hold of him, but if we have to let him go, we have to let him go. But we will try to, you know, 4-0 now to Basel. It's not going to be our day, unfortunately, I don't think. It's just disappointing that the end game has really just cost us. If we win that game and then we win all the others. I mean, if we win the Basel game, that Basel game would have been massive if we had won that. Because it would have allowed us to have a bit of a mess up, if you know what I mean. So, anyway, enough about that Foreman. We've got a lot of bodies in the box. Can we do anything? No, we can't. Hugo Alba. Saunders. I don't think St. Gallen are going to pull off a 4-4 anytime soon. So their best player is safe for the time being. Guarini is going to come on and do a centre defend cover job. And I think Maximiliano will bring him off. And then we'll put Kamara onto the winger role, I think. Let's see what I can do there. 5-0 to Basel now, ladies and gentlemen. Not meant to be. Kamara, Kaminsky. Potentially a lot of players' last games for the club here, especially Rickenbacker. Obviously that was Saunders' last game. Hopefully it's not Kamara's last game. I will possibly debate whether I want to bring, if Man City will let me, Rickenbacker on loan next season. We'll see. We've got a lot of potential in the under-21 scene, as Guarini plays a nice ball to Rambaldi. Foreman, I don't think that's offside personally. I think he kept himself really on there and it's been disallowed, has it? Interesting to see the offside here. He is just off, unfortunately. But yeah, you can see why I want to keep a hold of him. I am going to go attacking. Yeah, we've been the better team in the second half, I think. Momentum's been with us. It's just a little bit frustrating to end the season on a bit of a dampener after all that hard work. But I think we will be better next season. I'm hoping we'll be better next season. Anyway, Casanova. Can we get one last goal? Finish the season off with a win at least. Rightmove, who, if I'm not mistaken, used to play for us a long time ago. Look how things have changed there. That is a really bad ball back. Kamara's running away. I don't know why you're running away, mate. Campana, sorry. Campana running away there like he's got nothing to do. I mean, why are you making that? Oh, is it Kamara? Okay. I don't know what that pass is. Kamara. And he's got his hands in the head. What a way to end the season. I think you might be getting a bit of a berate after that performance. Yeah, I'm far from pleased with that. I'm not happy, boys. So Basel are the winners, 5 points clear. They won 6-0 against St. Gallen. Be interesting to see how St. Gallen performed in that match. That shows you can never rely on your local rivals. Yeah, St. Gallen didn't even have a chance. Bloody hell. 6 goals. Esposito was one of them as well. Yeah, they've done it. They've done all right. They've done all right. I don't know if they deserve it, but hey ho. And obviously we will show up as not in the league, so it'll be Thun who are third. They'll be the runners up. They get Champions League qualification. Bloody hell, Thun. So that's what you get now with the Swiss Super League, do you? Second qualifying path, which is not too bad, not too bad at all. So it shows you that the league is improving. But yeah, I don't think we were odds on to be second. But if you look at the likes of Luzerne and Young Boys, Zurich were meant to do so much better, and Servette and Thun have done really well. I mean, Young Boys have had a terrible season, absolutely terrible, with Vladimir Weiss in charge. He had an awful spell. And I think he's retired now. Looks like he's not in the game anymore. But he had a really bad spell. So yeah, interesting to see how the mighty have fallen in this save. But we will go again in the Conference League. It's going to be a bit interesting next season. So yeah. Obviously, with us doing the Champions League this year, it was a little bit different. So we are progressing as a club. The last 3 seasons we finished in the top 5. Obviously, first season we got 5th. First season we got 9th. Sorry, second season 5th, and then we went off the ball a little bit, and then that massive jump in 2031-32 season. A little bit of a blip in 2032-33, but it's improved in 33-34. So we are getting there. It's just a case of getting to the top. Obviously, we won't win anything, but we will at least win it sentimentally if we do finish first. Yeah, a bit of a disappointing way to win season 12 there. After getting into the Champions League last season due to the Conference League victory, a bit of disappointment there that we didn't pick up any points. In that competition, even though we were close in a couple of games, but yeah, it just seems like a couple of games have cost us in the league, which has led us to finishing second rather than first. We will go again next season, and it'll be interesting to see how and if the takeover takes place, whether or not we get some more backing in terms of the finances. I'm hoping that we're going to hold on to what we have transfer wise this season. I think there will be a shake up in terms of some players leaving the club, big players as well. So be on the lookout for that in the next episode. If you have enjoyed the series so far and the episode, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Take it easy, stay safe, bye everybody.